Live from the basement of La Penta, it's WICR.
Hello, everyone. Welcome back to the Sports Vault. Jersey Joe Archino back here. And the saga just gets darker and darker for Johnny Manziel. Did several segments on his saga, kind of everything that's unfolded since the events of last weekend with the police going. No arrests made when they went to his house to kind of see what happened between his girlfriend and him. It's not the first time that we've seen things like this, but there are stages to a train wreck, and Manziel fits that bill in every single way. Now today, his agent parted ways with him and kind of said, everything is in his hands now. If that wasn't big enough, now his father comes out and makes a comment and says, I truly believe if they can't get him help, he won't live to see his 24th birthday. Now, part of this at the same time is if this is coming from his dad, I don't really understand why he says if they don't get him help. You're the guy's father. I think it kind of falls on you to also get him some help, but I think that is also where this whole kind of mess comes into play. You look at, it's hard to feel bad for a guy like Johnny Manziel just because he has been given every opportunity you could ever imagine in life. He's had opportunities that people never get. He's had all the advantages during his life, and just the fact that he's never been able to be mature or put any hard work forward or do anything the right way makes you really lack the sympathy for the guy. But I look at these comments now that his father makes, and there's almost no accountability on his part. Who you are today in life is truly a reflection of the way you were brought up. When you look at Johnny Manziel when he was in high school, again, coming into the NFL draft, this was one of those things that when I heard it, I just said, who in the world is going to draft this guy? But there were reports that when he was in high school, him and his parents, him and his dad, I think, made an agreement that if he did not drink his senior year, he would get some fancy type of car. The mere fact that you have to make that type of deal with your son to get him to stay focused is troubling. But that is the dynamic of Johnny Manziel. It's why he is who he is today. It is Super Bowl week. Super Bowl 50 is this Sunday. There's a reason why Peyton Manning and Cam Newton are there. It's because they've had setbacks. They've had to work for things in life. Nothing has ever been given to the guys like that. They come in with a work ethic that was previously established early in life. And Manziel, again, it's so easy to see. The writing has always been on the walls. People who just wanted to ignore it were so wrong. It was always so easy to see who Johnny Manziel was. It's not rocket science in life, people. You can see, look back at how you were raised, the way that you act, the way that you represent yourself. I always say, how do you want to be remembered? Johnny Manziel's writing his legacy pretty easily, and now there are a lot of alarming things to kind of take into account here. His life is clearly spiraled out of control now more than it ever has been. I think at points he was able to kind of manage it because a lot of times we just thought, he's just a knucklehead kid who just likes to go out and party and his work ethic isn't really there. Join the club. But it's now gotten to a point where, domestic violence issues are being brought up, suicidal issues are being brought up. It has turned to a very dark time for Johnny Manziel. And again, I just think you look at everything that we've led up to at this point, there are stages to a train wreck, and it just keeps getting worse and worse and worse. People were saying early in the week, when the Browns cut him, where will he land next? Football is something that, is just completely off the table right now. I don't think we ever see Johnny Manziel in the NFL again. I really don't. I think once the Browns part ways with him, if you haven't learned by now who Manziel is, I don't think you ever will be. He's got to straighten his life out before even thinking about football, and I think even then, I don't think there will ever be a place for him in the game. Again, you have your chances in life. You have chances. You've got to take your chances when you have them because they're not always going to be there. And when you're a guy like that again, I hate to sound harsh, but it's still so difficult to feel bad for a guy like that because he's had it all. He's had every advantage. There are no excuses for him to be in the position that he's in right now, and he is. He found himself there, and it's all because, he didn't always take his priorities straight. The work ethic was not established early. there are so many reasons why Manziel is who he is today, and it's all of his own doing. There's no one to blame but himself. Accountability has to start with yourself first and foremost, and Manziel is the reason why he is where he is today, and it's really gotten to a sad point. But again, I think back to his dad's comments for a minute. I mean, you got to wake up, too, if you're Johnny Manziel's dad. If they get him the help he needs, who's they? Why aren't you the one who's going out there and helping him? I mean, I think the parents, clearly you can kind of tell, money sometimes people always want it. It destroys families a lot of times. And I think you can clearly tell, there's a kind of a weak relationship here. Just all you really need to do is read that line right there. I'll read it again. I truly believe if they can't get him help, he won't live to see his 24th birthday. Well, they is kind of not where this kind of comes into the picture. It really starts with you. You're the kid's dad. You need to be more of a presence. Probably was not. I mean, I don't want to make a lot of generalizations, but I think you can figure things out pretty easily. Manziel is who he is today because of his upbringing, because the work ethic was not established early, was always handed things in life. It's a difficult time, but at the same time, this is all the way it's always been. He is who he is today because he got there on his own, and that's really all there is to it until, though, the Super Bowl happens where we get to see the guys who have done things the right way, have earned the spots that they've been in. Jersey, Joe Archino here with the Sports Fall. Follow me on Twitter at Joe Archino, on Instagram, Jersey_Joe_Archino. I'll see you folks on Monday.